Hey everyone, Firefly Anime here, and we are back with another figure review video, and this time we are taking a look at yet another Snow Miku Nendoroid, and this one is the 2013 version, the strawberry white kimono version. And as always, starting off with the box, as you notice right off the bat, the box design is quite unique and a little bit different from the usual Nendoroid box. And it has just a very simple but elegant feel to it. And at the very front we have this white slipcover with a sort of kind of marbleized background going on very faintly. And it is kind of supposed to be positioned more in the middle, but once you take the plastic wrap and the tape off, it just kind of falls down to the bottom. But nonetheless, this has this band going around the box, and as you can see, there is a little imprinted snowflake pattern going across the front band as well, and we have that gold lettering with Nendoroid series and the title of the figure, and she is Nendoroid number 303, Yukimiku Ichigo Shiromuku version. And she, the original costume designed by Nijita, and she is sculpted by Hiratoshi Nishibu, and of course the usual companies involved with Nendoroid as well as Krypton Future Media Inc. at the bottom. And on these sides we are treated with a lovely picture of the Miku Nendoroid as well as the Nendoroid series and Good Smile Company logo. And for the other side we are treated with another picture of the Miku Nendoroid. And the back just kind of has, where usually on the back of boxes you have the usual information in Japanese about the figure. So this is what the front of the box looks like once you take the little wraparound part off, and we have a nice big picture of the Snow Miku Nendoroid as well as the title of the figure and the companies involved in this very simple red background. The sides and the back / bottom of the box are all just red, as you can see, and at the bottom / side of the box, depending on how you want to look at it, once again we have another picture of the Miku Nendoroid, and same case for the other section of the box. So once you open up the box, this is just what the inside looks like on the top part, and for the bottom part it is just all red with this picture of a strawberry in the back. And I will say that the box material is quite nice as well, and very different from the typical cardboard Nendoroid boxes. It's a very stronger, more durable material. But enough about the box, let's take a look at what the Snow Miku has to offer. So as always, the most basic of things that a Nendoroid can come with. First up we have the little instruction sheet. And the Snow Miku does come with a stand, although she really doesn't need it just because of the way her costume is. And as you can see, it is the typical base, but the this part right here is a little different because it's just one leg on each side, kind of akin to how the older Nendoroids had their stands. The Snow Miku also comes with this big dish-like base option that you can set her up with some of her accessories on. And as you can see, it's just black on the outside and red on the inside. There is also this wooden stake-like accessory that I'm not entirely sure what purpose this is for. But I also have this sticker piece right here, which I'm not going to take it out of the plastic because I don't think I'm going to use it, but it is this little snowflake pattern option that you can see that you can stick on the front of Snow Miku's fringe. And Miku also comes with this lovely little parasol accessory, which is really nicely detailed for this small piece. As you can see, here is the base, and underneath you can see all the little details of the little wooden pieces. And on the top you can see that there is a pattern of snowflakes adorning it as well, and it's this really pretty shade of light green. And one of my favorite accessories from this is the little snow bunny option, and he is really cutely done, as you can see. And Snow Miku comes with an optional whole body part that you can have her sitting down with, and it is very beautifully done as well. Once again, you get a look at her kimono and all the details that go into it with the little snowflakes and this little flower piece right here, and at the top you can kind of see a little peek of the strawberry pattern going on underneath. And this is just what the back looks like, and underneath is just kind of flat and not as much detail. And Snow Miku does come with a couple optional arm pieces, as you can see. One of them just has a hole in it so she can hold her parasol or something. This one just kind of has a slightly more open palm, and this is just closed with the hole. And again, you get a nice look at that detail of the snowflake decals and the little peaks of red poking out from underneath the main white of her kimono. And the second set is so she can hold her little bowl or cup or dish or whatever it is, presumably for sake, I'm not sure. And finally we have another pair of optional hands with her fingers more open and spread apart. And Snow Miku does come with an optional hair piece so that you can have her with more of her classic Miku twin tail look, as opposed to her original sophisticated sort of updo she has going on. But it still has a little bit of that design of this particular Snow Miku design, so we have these pretty white hair bands, and her hair is a little bit darker than it is usually, but it kind of goes off into a lighter gradient at the ends, and once again you see those snowflake decals adorning the ends of them, and it is very cutely done. So finally, as for the optional faceplates that the Snow Miku comes with, the first one we have here is a simple, peaceful smiling expression, and I really love the way that they painted her eyes, and she just looks very adorable. And the next one is this laughing with her eyes closed expression with tears coming out, and again I love the little blush mark expressions on her cheeks. Seems like she's really enjoying herself, and I really like this faceplate as well. And finally here is the Snow Miku Nendoroid herself, and as I said, you can see that she really doesn't need the base since the bottom part of her kimono is quite wide, so she is really stable just standing on it as it is. So as for articulation, this Nendoroid is a little bit more limited than they usually are, simply due to the whole idea of her outfit. Like her head, when she has the hood on, she can't really quite move it that much. She can look up and down and a little teeny bit to the side. Her arms have just a little bit of movement as well, but not as much due to the kimono sleeves, and her legs probably, I guess they can move, but just once again her kimono kind of blocks all movement. But as for the details of this figure, everything is very gorgeously painted and wonderfully sculpted. I have to say every little bit of detail is nicely done, and sorry for kind of the up kimono shot, but trying to show her little socks and her little pair of gaita that she has on are just simple and brown, and at the bottom you see a little bit more of that red layer of the kimono underneath the white. And once again you notice the snowflake pattern going on all around the white of her kimono, as well as the sleeves. And again, I love this little kind of brown flower piece right here, and she has matching ones on the hood of her kimono, which are really cute. And this is just how she looks from the back. I really love the way that the kimono is sculpted and the way it flows behind her, and the pretty white ribbon that is in the back, and little peaks of her hair kind of escaping her updo look very graceful on the back as well, the way they're curled around her. And finally, onto the details of her face. Once again, she has a wonderful, happy, slightly open-mouthed smiling expression that is very beautifully painted and done, and I really love the way they did her eyes in this figure with the little bit of eyelash flicks they have going on at the edge. And her hair is a beautiful color as well, with the little bit of gradient going on throughout it. And I really like this little hair accessory right here. There is a tiny little bit of sloppiness in the paint, but it's very, very minor, I think. And finally, I took off her little hood part so you can get a better look at her hair and the way that it is sculpted in her updo. And she just kind of has her twin tails sort of braided and pinned up with a little bit of tufts of hair kind of curled and escaping. And it is a really unique hairstyle for this Miku, and it looks very beautifully done. And as for her hood, the inside of her kimono hood is all red and sort of looks like the design of a strawberry with a little seeded. Overall, I have to say this is a very beautiful and elegant Miku figure, especially for a Nendoroid to have such chibi proportions, but she is still very lovely and beautiful in addition to being really adorable. I will say that some of the parts are a little bit finicky to mess with, particularly trying to get her closed hands out of those kimono sleeves was absolutely difficult, I have to say, as well as swapping out some of the other parts, and there are some paint defects here and there, but overall everything is just so beautifully done, and again, I love the whole idea of this Nendoroid that little mistakes are kind of easy to forgive because she is very much worth adding to your collection if you are a Miku fan or like to collect these Snow Mikus. Or even if you're not a Miku fan, I think it is a fun figure to have in general just because it is simply very beautiful. So that is it for now. Until next time, thanks for watching.